Ain't say much, them diamonds glow. Please tell me you thought you know. Don't tell me you thought you did. Please act like you nobody. New tape ain't getting no fucking streams. He thought it was rigged. DC's rap, nigga, sound like you. Please tell me this your kid. I get busy, baby, she only see me on occasion. Get that golden 10, I watch her sit out like a raisin. He wanna be a drink, baby, he showed it by his hatred. Red beans pointed by his eyes, give him brand new laces. All my sodas tainted, concrete boy with the bricks like Macy's. All my jello Macy's, cannot catch me in no Macy's. Quick to get it bad, then I do the dash like Stacy. I ran my status up, all these bitches love me lately. 4 models, cooling in the penthouse, bitches all shaped like Coke bottles. Nigga hold it tight, yeah, we spinning shit with no problems. But he claim he ballin', but he holding on a rope probably. Can't get in the game, so he argue with the coach often. I get fresh, I'm saucy. She really on some bullshit, doing what I taught her. I get sad and lonely, without that Kiki by me. He really broke and hungry. Shit, we got different problems. Fuck. You know what I'm saying? Drink baby shit, you know what I'm saying? Mr. Junior, you know what I'm saying? Neil Strong arm. Neil Strong arm, you know what I'm saying? Get out to the moon, you know, man. Ain't say much, them diamonds glow. Please tell me you thought you know. Don't tell me you
oh shit.
He thought it was rigged. DC's rap, nigga, sound like you. Please tell me it's your kid. I get busy, baby, she only see me on occasion. Get that golden 10, I watch her sit out like a raisin. He wanted to be a drink, baby, he showed it by his hatred. Red beans pointed by his eyes, give him brand new laces.
Damn, bro, that's a vibe, bro. What's going on, man? What's going on? If you are new to the streams, man, as y'all can see, I have 35 hours until I reach that 4K hour watch time goal. We get into the last bit of it. We about to get there. I think it's going to happen. I'm going to reach that 4K Monday. I'm calling it now. On Monday, I will reach that 4K watch time hour. If I don't, I will be completely dumbfounded. But I think by Monday, I should have that 4K watch time hour again. This has been something I've been like for the past year. So 2024 is when I really started to like actively want to pursue that watch time hours. And I almost had it back in January, February, March, April. I think I was like April. I was like just a little bit far off. Maybe like I was at 100 hours left. But then my camera broke on me and I didn't post on YouTube for like basically a full month, and that killed everything I had going. Honestly, my account hasn't been the same since that month of no uploads. But we getting back there. We almost there. 35 hours. I mean, every morning I'm laying in bed. I'm like, whoo, we almost there. So I'm not going to waste no time. We're going to get straight into it. Something that I want to start this off and kick this off with is I want to talk about this quarter zip trend. I need to. So I'm going to pull up the video. Real quick, and I want to just give my slight words on it.
So quarter zips have officially taken over the internet. It started with girls on TikTok saying quarter zips are the best thing a guy can wear. And of course, men took that way too seriously. Now every dude owns one. They've abandoned their Nike techs, and they're acting like they've unlocked a new personality. It got so extreme that guys are hosting actual quarter zip meetups, thousands of them, standing together like they're businessmen in training. And the funniest part, everyone's joking that the CIA is stressed because men are suddenly doing the right thing more than ever thanks to one random fashion trend. So quarter zips have officially taken over the
Okay, there's that one. There's one more there's one more before I want to find the original. I want to find the original video.
Who is the guy that only wears quarters?
Jesus Christ. I fucking hate those type of YouTube videos. There we go. God damn it. Goddamn ad.
Nike Tech. We don't do coffee. It's straight quarter zips and matchas around here.
We don't do Nike Techs, we don't do coffee, we drink matchas and wear quarter zips, gang. We don't do those type of stuff no more. And I go to school now and I read books, bro. And I go to the
Okay. So y'all kind of get the gist of it. The gist of this trend is like people rocking quarter zips, saying like, I don't really do none of that like Nike Techs. I'm like a little bit more elevated. I'm a little bit better, which on the surface, that's cool. There's no issue with that. I am A-okay with that. I am cool with people trying to elevate their style, adding a piece that when done right, a quarter zip layered with like the right shit, it can really elevate a fit. I'm not gonna hold you. Like a quarter zip, actually not bad fashion takes. Now, where it starts to become a problem is people are using terminology like, oh, I'm not a YN anymore. I got the quarter zip. I abandoned that type of lifestyle. You know, saying like, oh, you know, I wear a quarter zip now. I'm back in school. I drink matcha. I don't really do with those quarter zips like Arizona teas and all that. That is where they start to tread a very thin line of like it being a funny, trendy thing to being elitism and also like borderline almost racist, bro. And I'm not even trying to like over exaggerate it, but like when you start associating quarter zips and Nike Techs, which Nike Techs very heavily in minority, you know, communities, or like a lot of people within minority communities wear Nike Techs. When you start saying like, oh, I don't wear Nike Techs anymore, I go to school now, you know, I don't really do the things that those, you know, YNs be doing. That's where it starts to become like, okay, so what are you actually trying to say? What are you actually trying to say here? Because it almost feels like just because you wear a Nike Tech, you can't be educated, or just because you wear a Nike Tech, you can't be successful or be a leader or be, you know, all X, Y, and Z. And just because you put on, I thought that was damn, what's his name? Damn, I forgot Buddy Nan that played for the Seahawks for a little bit. Or I think he still played for the Seahawks. Anyways, it makes it seem like just because you put on a quarter zip that you're going to get some type of respect per se. And that's not necessarily the case. We have seen people in 3-piece suits get beat, get shit on, get, you know, X, Y, and Z. Whatever you want to say is I've seen it in real time. Dehumanize all that. So it's just like, this trend is cool. I fuck with it. I'm not going to be the person that's overly trying to like make everything some type of thing that is not, but it's like, just the verbiage that's being used is very skeptical. It's very, I don't know. It's just interesting whenever I like this, because this is trending. It's no longer just a TikTok thing. When they're talking about it on the news and all these other podcasts, people are talking about it and it's popping up as a trending topic on Threads, is no longer just something that was on TikTok that was funny. It is now within the ecosystem of the world. But again, I like it for what it was initially trying to do. But like just some of the other videos that I've been seeing when it comes to this trend has just been leaving a bad taste in my mouth. Like, that's just like, I don't know. But that's all I'm gonna say about the quarter zip trend. It was cool. I doubt this is long lived. Like, truthfully, I don't think this is going to last longer than like once we're back into spring, summer, and then we phase back into, you know, 2026 fall, winter. This is no longer going to be a thing. People are going to forget about it and move on to the next trending thing, or like they're going to go back to wearing Nike Techs and baggy clothes. This is not going to be long lived. I promise you that. I promise you. All right, cool. Let's go to Hypebeast. Let's go to Hypebeast. Let's see what's going on in this world of sneakers, fashion, yada yada. Everything we loved in music this week, November 2020. I actually don't like again, given that I listen to a lot of underground rap, I don't really know when things are like, you know, big artists are dropping their albums just because I never really pay attention to it. So I'm interested who has dropped. Not listening to that. Wait. I gotta go back. Okay, so Kenny Mason, I don't know who that is. Mavi, don't know who that is. Don't know who that is. I was Haley Williams and tonight, Steph Curry. Okay, I don't know who that. Okay. Camp Flognos. Okay. Tim's, Rico Nasty. Yeah. Slow day at the office. Graph paper is bringing. Okay, this looks promising. Okay. That first image looked promising. Graph paper. Where's this company from? Graph paper. Collection of the key. Okay, Japanese label. Okay, Japanese label. Let's see. This is like a blend of like a polo and a hoodie. If this hand tucked back here is in a pocket, I've actually never seen anything like that. This is not hitting on the levels that I would want it to, so that's a no. Now that shit, look how much I forget where I saw it, but like it was like a very popular, very viral tweet. Somebody was like, "You're not ugly, you just dress bad." And like, okay, I'm not saying this about I'm not saying it about this dude. I'm just saying, like, you see how like just this fit, which is not terrible, but it's just like average, just whatever, like it's not, you know, something unique. And you go from this to this, and it just like, I don't know, just like it makes the person feel just a little bit like cooler, or it makes it look just, I don't know, like I feel like you have more character to who you are as a person, while this one just kind of feels like, you know, like this is the NPC of the world, and this is like, you know, not main character maybe, but like, you know, side character, or like this person, you pull up to him, he might give you a quest that's gonna give you a nice legendary item. You never know, like Mystique. Like this is mysterious. I don't know what he's holding in that coat. It could be a scroll that leads me down a road to find treasure. I want to like it. I just can't make out what type of material that is. It looks like a nylon blend or something. I don't know. The pants solid though. The pants here are solid. This, I would have to see how that like actually feels. I'm not really liking it too much on the shape. Damn. Okay. Now we get into some swag. Okay. Now this is tough. Japanese label. Very leisurely, almost still having some type of like, not gorp aesthetic to it, but it has like I feel like I could easily go hiking in this fit. Very easily go hiking, very easily go, you know, on a trail, just like a nice walk. Like this is actually fire. Like I would actually wear this whole thing, like top to bottom. Like this is a good fit. Probably change the shoes. I will potentially change the shoes. Why'd they go back to this? Give me 1 second. All right. This This feels Uniqlo adjacent. Shorts have potential. Just based on the length, they probably could live in my closet. I'm not gonna lie to you. The sweater, not really my vibe. I'm interested to see what the shirt is because it matches with the hat. I'm interested to see, is this like a long sleeve? But like based on like how this sweater is laying on the body, it doesn't look like there's like any extra material in there. So like I'm just curious. The shoes, but they actually may be theirs. So like I just like in the space of footwear, in the space of sneakers, slip-ons, like just like footwear, that entire category, everything that could fall under footwear, it is so hard to make something that people would like, but then also is different enough to make it feel like it's not like these very much so could be Vans, but then like they also could be their own labels shoes. So I don't want to make a wild assumption, but it is very hard to be a brand and be like, damn, we want to get into footwear, but we don't know what type of silhouette we want to go after, and we don't want to copy somebody. That is a tough space to be in. This is too much. Right here. This would be a good pump cover. If anybody goes to the gym, this would be a fantastic pump cover. Other than that, I also don't know if this is like a sleeveless thing or is it like a sweater? I don't know. Jacket, not a fan. Least favorite. Okay, so now bro got that shit on. They be putting Buddy in the best shit. This is fire. That jacket is heat. I like the shape of the pants. Very much so me coated for sure. Yeah, least favorite. The bad thing about this, his arms not being out, I can't tell how this really is laying on his body. Like I want to like it. It kind of has like I forget what that's called. It's not a band collar, but I do like shirts like this. I forget what that's called. No. And no on the pants. Yeah, that's no. This is a no as well. Just not my style. This is also a no as well. The pants look promising. This thing, like this brand kind of feels like elevated Zara. So far. It feels like elevated Zara pieces. Like I feel like I've seen not only just like this item or these items, but also this model. Like this feels like something on Zara's website I've seen before. Not a fan. It's kind of whatever. Not my style. That jacket cold though. That jacket cold. That jacket's fire. This is not bad either. I wouldn't wear it with this. I would probably rock this with like this would look better with something with an actual collar versus like this like turtleneck adjacent thing right here. It'll look better with something like, you know, a polo that has like, you know, the collar folded down. This would also look great with another like layering piece, so like another flannel under, and then like you button up these two. That would look good as well. I wouldn't rock it with this though. And if I was to rock it like this, I would rock it at least button to like here, like these two, at least. At the very least. Oh, so that little thing was like I need to see it without the jacket though. I don't know what this, because it could be short sleeve, it could be long sleeve. I don't know what that is. The styling here is great though. Collar kind of over the jacket. I like that touch because it kind of makes it breaks up that, you know, the black up here. I like that. This trench coat's fire though. This is the best thing. This is the best piece I've seen in this entire catalog. Not bad styling. The pants look promising. I wouldn't wear the jacket though, or the top. That's a heavy no. That shirt's a heavy no. These shorts are heavy no. Hi, I'm normal. Look at that. Yeah, this feels heavily Zara coated. Now this is a picture that reeled me in. This is fucking styling execution to perfection. The layers, the way things are draping. That's the word. The way things are draping here. Like this is not even like my personal style, but this was styled to perfection. Like they did it right here. So it breaks up this point. You kind of see a piece of the belt. Got the little rolls up on the sleeves here, breaking up the entry point with the hand and the jacket. Amazing. Like this is execution done well. Flawless. Amazing picture. This is what reeled me in. That's good too. That's damn good too. That's good. A little less good, but still decent. That's too much. This is too much. There's too much going on here. Doesn't really feel cohesive as the other ones did. It's almost like when people shoot clothes on models, there's definitely a point of like excess clothes because you got not only the shirt here, the tie here, the sweater here, the jacket here, pants. Like it just feels like there's too much going on and it's not necessarily proportioned right. So it kind of feels slouchy. I don't even know if that was the last picture. Ooh, that wasn't. Ooh, that ain't bad. This is not bad. That's not bad. Oh, this fire. Clean. This that fucking 2010 draft suit on. Didn't Obama wear a tan suit and they fried his ass for that? This is fucking amazing. This is amazing styling. Just like bro, like, look how like here, breaking it up here, but it's still done so like, man, I would kill. Like if I had this exact fit on, I would kill for the picture to turn out like this. That's fire. That's decent. That's good. That's good. Like, this brand's dope. Release a season of books, lightweight soon matching. I'm gonna add this brand to my, what's it called? Graph paper? I need to add this brand to my list. I ain't never heard of it. Hold on. Let's check a look at their website. I want to see like what's the other shit that y'all have. Also, I'm interested in what price point is. It's pant. Oh, it is a band collar. 1,940, 606. It may be out of there. I ain't gonna lie. These prices a little pricey. 481. This also reminds me of another brand called Oakenford. Oakenford has this same kind of aesthetic too. I like that. That's fire. The shape on that is heat. Yeah. This kind of has me, it gives me the same vibe as this company. Which they pretty like reasonable with their pricing. Decent brand. I've had a few pieces from Oakenford. The pieces that I had back in like 2019, 2018, well made. Decent brand for like a very solid entry point as well. Very solid entry point. But yeah, this is a cool brand. I'm gonna add that to my list though. I just gotta keep an eye on them. See what they got going on. The Nike Astro gets a sale. I don't know what it's going to take for me to like another Astro grabber. Of course, I'm biased. And like the Nike Bodie, that was just a perfect collab to reintroduce the Nike Astro Grabber. Ever since then, every other colorway they've released, other people who've gotten this, collab for it, it just don't feel the same. Like it just don't the color and I feel like it's heavy on the colorways. The colorways just aren't hitting hard. They just feel like they feel lackluster. Like I don't know. There's like no real at least what Bodie did was like at least try to tell the story with them. Bodie told a story, kind of curated a vibe around the sneaker, kind of making the shoe itself just like a little bit better. But I feel like anything outside of that collab with the Astro Grabber kind of fell off. Pixar unveils a new trailer for original Hoppers. Yoji's one of those brands, bro. Let me tell you. That's fucking heat. That's heat. That moto jacket is heat. Man. It needs to be studied like the exoskeleton play on clothes. I don't know why that works so well. Ooh, that temp. Ooh, that shit tough, bro. Yeah, not so much. Yeah. No. This moto jacket in both colorways, elite. But I know that's easily like 2,000. I know that's easily for Yoji, easily 2,000. Without a doubt. Davi Palace debuts holiday lookbook. I won't let this holiday season. This looks like a fucking hat that I had. Oh my god. Hold on. Give me 1 second. I need to find that now. What year did I have that? I had 2024. I only had it for a short period of time. It was right after I cut my hair. So it had to be 2024. It had to be right here. Look at this hat. So look at this jacket. And then look at this hat. And this was the hat that I'm rocking in this picture is from Undercover. Obviously, they didn't fucking invent the color, but like this jacket just like eerily reminded me of that. Eerily just reminded me of that. Yo, what's cracking? Palace. I'm going to pick up. That's what I was about to say. I'm going to pick up a piece from Palace before this year is up. Definitely. I'm going to pick up a piece just so I can get my, intro with this brand. This brand is everywhere. I mean, having great collabs, having great partnerships. I need to just test out this brand. I don't know. This isn't looking too great, but also that Cactus Plant Flea Market Skims collab also just does not look great. I hope that is on the list of articles upcoming because like that did not look great at all. This shirt ain't bad. Hat decent. Probably wouldn't rock it though. I don't know, bro. It's hard for a brand to really do a holiday collection, bro. It don't really look right. That's okay. That's okay though. This piece, actually decent. These all right. I want to see the pants. I hope it's not like hope it has like a cinch bottom for these instead of like a free flowing pant. I hope it has a cinch bottom. That jacket kind of hard, I guess. Yeah, this didn't really like wow me. I think it's hard for a brand to like perfectly execute on winter or like holiday collections, just because like it can almost like it treads that line of being too gimmicky real fast. It gets real gimmicky real fast. Essence Worldwide unveils eccentric frog clogs. Yeah, I mean, this company really is just the mischief of 2025. They have been doing a lot this year because they did these. They also did that real tree camo boot. They also did that AirPod backpack. They did another thing too. That was, I think they did those like Birkenstock looking clogs that have like the eyes in them. If I'm remembering that correctly, I think this is the same. Yep. So like the tabby Timberland boot looking thing. They did the tabby Tim boot. Yeah, now they've literally been everywhere this year. They've been everywhere this year. So I gotta, these don't look too bad. These pants don't look too bad now for $99. I ain't gonna lie, that might be a thing, man. Tell me that. But yeah, these are actually, I know I always talk about gimmicky, but like this is like gimmicky done well. Now I feel like that's like their whole take. Is like they do the unthought of. They do the unconventional. Which sometimes that's needed in fashion, bro. Like fashion sometimes can get really, I think they changed their name. Might have started as Bravest. Oh, I think so, actually. I think so. I don't know. It might actually be two separate things. I remember these. I think these might be two separate things. Unless he owns two separate companies, which that would be wild. That shirt ain't bad. I ain't gonna lie. That shirt actually decent as hell. So these sweatpants ain't bad either. Hold on now. Shit. These ain't bad pieces. I think it's kind of crazy that people really just be throwing like the image on anything. Like I get like if that's at the heart of their brand, cool. But I find they just like people just be throwing the image on anything though. They be throwing that shit on anything. Okay. These aren't bad pieces though. I might have slept too heavy on this brand. That's a good fucking thermal. These sweatpants too. Okay. That's gonna have to go in the back pocket. But yeah, these decent though. I like these. These decent. They're not overly gimmicky. Like they could have had like a mouth and a tongue sticking out. That would have been like treading the line of being a little too much. But like this is a little too, like this is toned down and it's done well. So I could fuck with this. That was before they had a full catalog of products back when they were a newer company. Okay. Was they comfortable though? Like were they actually worth the price that you paid for them? The Grinch is dropping a collab with McDonald's for a surprise holiday meal. I can't remember the last time I actually had McDonald's, bro. I don't remember when, like, I don't have. It might have been like 2023 is the last time I had McDonald's. And I had like a McGriddle or something. Like, that was it. I don't know many people actively just going to McDonald's very frequently. But a Big Mac back in the day? A Big Mac back in the day and a McChicken back in the day? Oh, with some oh, with the orange soda? Oh, shit used to hit. It used to hit crazy. I didn't even look what the meal is. The Grinch McDonald's center pieces of dill pickle, Grinch salt, McShaker fries. Every meal includes a pair of exclusive spirited Grinch themed socks. Socks with your purchase is crazy though. A purchase of socks with your I mean I get it, but like that's crazy. That's cool though. What's the best holiday movie? You know what a holiday movie really just like, it's a very underrated holiday movie. But the Christmas with the Cranks, if that shit is on, I have to watch it. Christmas with the Cranks is a better holiday movie than like Home Alone or like, what's another holiday movie that people, I don't know. Christmas with the Cranks though, banger. And for y'all that don't know, banger holiday. I was never one of those people that really fuck with Elf. I need to rewatch Elf. I ain't watched it since I was a kid. I never really liked it when I was a kid. So I feel like maybe now I may be into it. But Christmas with the Cranks? That's my shit. I fuck with this movie tough, bro. All right. Let's get back to some shit. Dallas Cowboys teamed up with Billionaire Boys Club. Wow. Given that I don't watch sports, do sports teams like football teams team up with brands like that often? I know like a Nike or like a, you know, these more renowned brands, but like this seems very like new. Billionaires Boy Clubs with Dallas. But also I just don't know sports, so they may have done mini collabs with brands like fucking Stussy or some shit. Like but this is crazy. But I know the players about to be laced up with all this gear. That's tough. If I was a Dallas Cowboy fan, I would for sure cop that. This is tough. That boy look like Tootsie, ain't he? DJ Premier and Nas joint album has official release date. Shout out to Nas. Purchase sales for a record-breaking 55 million. Some good art though. Some very solid art. I do fuck with it. What's the meaning here? Watch who you lay down with because they could keep There's something deeper going on. I just don't know what it is. There's something deeper here. Shout out to her though. I think I talked about these. These fire. Pharrell's limited edition 18K gold Louis Vuitton Timberland boot have surfaced. Money grab. I respect it though. They need to do something. That's why they starting to like hose. I feel like it's a very interesting thing. Like I get it of trying to broaden global, you know, a global approach to like the NBA having games in all these different countries. Football games happen in different countries because like shit, for a while, they were able to sustain just off the US and people from other countries flying in to go to games. But I feel like, you know, shit getting real tricky with the money, so they like, fuck, we need to figure out how to get some more money. So I can understand it. I know every rapper in the world is gonna want these, but these just look mad fake. There's only 50 pairs. Okay. These look like extremely fake. Like legitimately something that you would see at a swap meet. Something like somebody would try to like, I don't know, like they look fake. Do I pay attention to this? I try not to. Cause like when people aren't in here, I feel like if I'm focused on the view count, I'll be taken away from just like, you know, the yapping. I'll be like, fuck, like nobody in here, so I'm gonna just stay quiet then. So I try not to pay attention to it. Like it is what it is. I'm going to yap regardless. But I appreciate you though, if you do. But I feel like it'd take me out of my element of just yapping and just like having a conversation. This is basically going live when nobody's in your live is basically like when I'm shooting a YouTube video and I'm just talking to my camera. That's how I kind of see it. Yeah, these are like, I understand like they put maybe a little bit more work into it and like, you know, the material's probably better, but these just look fake, bro. They look fake as hell. Only 50 cents. Retailing for $85,000. And there's absolutely going to be somebody buying those for $85,000. That is insane. I promise you, I can find somebody. Yeah. Yeah. But I think I also just like when I stop posting, because I don't post my live anywhere. So I feel like people be like, weirds me out. People be creeping around but don't interact with shit. Nah, I just feel like people don't be knowing too much that I do stream. Which again, going into like, you know, things that I'm gonna like continuously work on is like, and I'll take like the Plenty approach to it. Cause I think Plenty does it. He does it very well. Like he'll advertise it on YouTube and like set a schedule, like, you know, so people know like when you're going live, and then he'll share it on his story. Like I don't share it anywhere, truthfully. Like I just spark it up and then I just get to going. I need to get better with my approach on it, which I'm in the works of doing. Cause I don't even be having thumbnails for my lives, bro. Don't mention me when I'm not here. Damn, I can't even give people their praises. He said, "Don't mention me when I'm not in here." But nah, yeah, I think I'm definitely gonna get. I'm gonna get better at it. Plenty and Kick don't have that issue, but I feel like they correct me if I'm wrong. Plenty, y'all been going live a little bit longer than I have. I only just started going live in July. Like if I go back and look at my lives, I've only been going live since July of this year is when I started going live. And I only started consistently going live back in August. So I think people still trying to get adjusted to this whole thing. But you need to promote. Yeah, I definitely do. I definitely do. All right, let's get back to it. House of Dragons, blah, blah, blah. Lewis Hamilton, blah, blah, blah. The Hunger Games, blah, blah, blah. Superman #1. We found 19. Damn. That's crazy. Oh, we. Ronnie Fieg drops Kith and Nike Kids holiday collection. It's decent. This feels like Sean Witherspoon. This feels like Sean Witherspoon coded versus Kith. Nah, it's decent though. It's a cool little collab. I ain't mad at it. All right, let's go to Christmas with the Cranks. Oh, nah, we definitely gotta talk basketball. We definitely, nah, we gotta talk basketball. We gotta talk basketball. What's the I think I asked this in a live. What's like the best game of basketball you done seen where you was like, I'm glad I was here for this moment? Like, what's like that? Like, is it like LeBron when he was in Miami? You probably not even fucking with LeBron. But like, what's like a great game? I want to watch like a full game. I will watch a full game. I just want to see some good basketball, like really hook me in. Damn, they bring the mids back. Waste management might be decent. Damn, I'm over here going crazy. And then it got the nerve to not even, yeah, I'm over it, bro. I don't even know what's happening. I see LaMelo drop. Yeah, it's over with. It's over with. It's over with. It's over with. No. Let's see. Whoa. I know I said I want the 14 back, but geez, what are these? I actually watched some of like LaMelo's like high school games. Bro was going crazy in high school. Oh, this is golfing shoes. Man, what? Golf? Come on, gang. Hold on. Trying to take a look. Bang, bang. Damn, I just caught the reflection of my forehead in like the corner of my eye. Then they're blinded myself. Wait, what is this? The iconic Michael Jordan face Jordan box returns for Air Jordan Retros in 2026. That's fire. If you're a sneaker collector amongst family and friends who don't collect, one thing you admire was Michael Jordan face of boxes. News report. Possible. But that's a cool little tidbit. Timberwolves versus Lakers. Game 6 was good hoops. LeBron was even playing defense. All right, bet. I think I am, though. That one YouTube channel was really dropping gems, bro. I feel like that one was like a good like basketball lore. That was some good basketball lore. Oh, whoa. Awake, New York, Air Jordan 6. Ooh. Shit. These. These, man. These are okay. This is too much. Okay? Too much. Like, this is like real. Like, the 5s at least, I feel like that was maybe just a little bit muted down with the pink. This is like, it's too late now. Like, I feel like the pink on the 5 was like just decent. I think it was just okay. But this one just feels like highlighter pink. This is like hurting my eyes to look at. This is like okay though. It's okay. Nah, bro. I truthfully feel like, nah, I'm not gonna say that either. I'm not gonna say that either, bro. I was about to say something that was gonna age me even more. I'm good. All right, I'm gonna go to YouTube. We go talk. We getting a basketball talk now. We done with cloth talk. We doing basketball talk now.
Library.
Oh. Let's see. Doing everything and doing nothing at the same time. That is very well said. That is very well said. I think they was able to get away with it just a little bit with the fives, but like those sixes, that's gonna be interesting what people do with those. Every NBA fan base explained in 27 minutes. This actually may help me decide on what team. This is actually good videos.
Build a website you love.
I'm very curious. Oh. I'm very curious on what happens.
Revolves around them since they're the most popular team. The franchise is also spoiled. They've gone from Jerry West to Wilt Chamberlain to Kareem to Magic to Shaq to Kobe to LeBron to Luka. They never don't have a top 5 player. They also think they're going to get every star who becomes even semi-available, and half the time, they actually do end up with that player. They're also known to overrate their player. Kevin Durant available? We'll send you Rui and Jordan.
Oh yeah, don't pick the Trailblazers.
Good one. Giannis available? We'll give you Finney Smith and Gabe Vincent. And just when it seems like their window is closing, LeBron turns 40. What happened? They somehow get the most untouchable player in the history of basketball, Luka. This is why people don't really like Laker fans. They always get everyone and claim they suffered in the Lonzo Ball and Brandon Ingram era, and when all that happened is they turned those players into a ring. So yeah, the Lakers, annoying. Celtics fans are known for being condescending. It's because they act like they've mastered basketball and everyone else is just trying to catch up. They just won their 18th title, and you'd think they discovered fire. They treat every game like it's a history lesson, reminding every...
Is there an NBA team that has not won a championship? Because I know there's a few football teams that have not.
Everyone about their banners, their legends, and their so-called greatness. Even if they lose, like they did to Miami, they brush it off like it's no big deal. We'll be fine, they say, as if every other team isn't dreaming of the success they take for granted. They also love to brag about their records. Most three-pointers in a season? Of course, they'll say, like it was always meant to happen. Injuries? Never their fault. If Brown's knee or Porzingis' nose slows them down, they just say they're unbeatable when healthy. And they love to argue their current team is better than last year's, even if the numbers say otherwise. This is why people find Celtics fans condescending. They act like they're above everyone else, because deep down, they think they are. Knicks fans are confused, because their team's acting like two different teams at once. One day, they're smacking the Nets by 25 points, and the next, they're losing to the Pistons.
Boy, was that a...
One day, they're smacking the Nets.
Oh, I thought this was a... Boy, I thought this was like a...
Nets by 25 points. And the next, they're losing to the Pistons like it's the 1970s. The roster looks strong, with Jalen Brunson dropping almost 28 points a game.
Nah, people were saying he was like a real GOAT.
Anthony Towns dominating the paint, and Bridges.
You see how my lingo getting a little better? Yeah, I heard about bro. He was a GOAT for real.
They keep slipping against teams they should destroy. Fans don't know if they should celebrate
the Hornets, Hawks,
and it shows
Pelicans,
every
Nets,
single game. They've got this habit of getting hyped after a big win, then instantly melting down after a weird loss. 1 second they're yelling finals run, and the next they're ranting about Tibbs rotations. They'll defend Brunson like he's already in the Hall of Fame, then question why Miles McBride's glued to the bench. They love to talk about this team's grit, but deep down, they're nervous because they've seen this movie before. They want to believe they're contenders, but there's always that voice in the back of their head saying, "Are we really?" Nuggets. Nuggets fans are super statistical because their entire world basically revolves around Nikola Jokic's number. He's out there averaging almost 30 points, 13 rebounds.
Nah, this is also somebody that, even though I don't watch sports, I see his name pop up so frequently, and people be acting like, I think I saw an edit where bro was like, he doesn't care about his job, and like there's like just multiple videos of him just like slouching around. But then like the next second, he was like going crazy.
And over 10 assists while shooting over 62%. And fans treat every single game like they're reading from a calculator. When he dropped 31 points, 21 rebounds, and 22 assists against Phoenix, they lost their minds. And honestly, I get it. No one else is doing this stuff, so they cling to the numbers like it's their family.
I ain't gonna lie, that's tough.
That was tough. No one else is doing this stuff,
I gotta get
so
buddy
they
that.
cling to the numbers like
tough,
it's their family photo album. They know exactly how many times
That
Jokic
was
touches
tough,
the ball
bro.
every game, and they love pointing out that almost half of Denver's points come from him scoring or passing. Anytime the Nuggets win, fans break down the numbers like they're presenting evidence in court. He went 13 for 17, plus 14 in 37 minutes. And if they lose,
All right, what does that mean? Does this mean he shot 17 times and he made 13 of them? Is that what that means?
it's always minus 20 without him. Save this man. They do it because Jokic flipped the whole franchise. Before him, Denver was forgettable. Now, every Jokic stat feels like another badge of honor. Nuggets fans breathe box scores. Simple as that. By the way, if you guys want to subscribe, I'm going to start posting every day. Thanks. Anyways, Heat fans are completely delusional because they genuinely think every single season ends with them in the finals. Right now, they're sitting at 36-41, barely hanging on to 9th in the East. And somehow, they still believe they're going on a deep playoff run. They traded Jimmy Butler to the Warriors, and instead of admitting the season's cooked, they're hyping up Tyler Hero like he's prime D-Wade. Hero's
7
putting
months?
up over 20 points a game, and fans act like that alone's going to carry them to the conference finals. They love to scream about Heat culture like it's a cheat code. Anytime they beat a good team, like their big win over Boston, they flood the internet saying the Heat are back. When they lose to teams like Cleveland, they just call it an off night and move on. They keep bragging about Bam's defense and their coaching like it covers every hole in the roster. Even with their draft pick situation looking messy, they'll still say they're reloading, not rebuilding. Heat fans just refuse to believe they're anything but contenders. Thunder fans are lucky because they somehow pulled off the impossible. They lost Kevin Durant, James Harden, and Russell Westbrook, and still ended up with Shea leading a contender. Most teams would collapse after losing 3 MVPs, but not the Thunder. Instead, they flipped Paul George for Shea and a mountain of picks, and now they're sitting at 6.
I feel like the Heat going crazy this year. I feel like Paul George, that was a name that I used to hear a lot when I was like in high school or like let's say college. Like, cause then they used to call him like PG-13 or something like that. I feel like he used to be like a household name, and I kind of just like he kind of faded out.
52-15, leading the West.
I'm
like
just a
it's
casual. I'm
another
just a casual,
Tuesday.
though. I'm
Fans
just a
know this
casual.
is ridiculous, and they love to remind everyone just how well things worked out. Shea is out here averaging almost 33 points a game, and Thunder fans treat it like they hit the jackpot. He's got multiple 50-point games, and every time he goes off, fans start saying he's doing more than Durant ever did in Oklahoma City. They've also got Jalen Williams putting up over 20 points, Chet making plays all over the floor, and a stash of draft picks that feels endless. Thunder fans are lucky because they didn't just survive losing their stars. They came out even stronger, and they're not afraid to say it. Warriors fans are entitled because they treat winning like it's their personal tradition. They act like anything less than a championship is a disaster. They added Jimmy Butler at the deadline.
I used to hear his name very often. Like, even like just not knowing anything about sports, like I knew who Paul George was, which at that time of my life, that means you had to really be putting in work for real.
19-3 with him and Steph Curry, and now fans basically
like
expect
T-Mac,
another
Penny,
title,
and Brandon
like it's
Roy.
already
Hold
in
on
the
now,
bag.
slow down.
Curry drops 52 points on Memphis, and fans are
taking
everywhere
baby
saying
steps.
stuff like, "This is why we're the dynasty. Nobody touches us."
Damn. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
How life works for them. Before the Curry era, the Warriors were barely a footnote, but now they've got Butler, Draymond Green, and fans treat it like it's their birthright. Even when they lose, they just brush it up. Draymond Green. Before the Curry era, the Warriors were barely a footnote, but now they've got Butler, Draymond Green, and fans treat.
Hold on now. Barely a footnote. Didn't we have well, Monte Ellis? Wasn't Monte Ellis at the Warriors? Monte Ellis and somebody else. That was another good scorer. Monte Ellis and somebody.
Treat it like it's their birthright.
I don't know.
Even when they lose, they just brush it off, saying their depth and stars will save the day. They see every Curry milestone, like his 4,003 as a sign of destiny. Warriors fans are entitled because they expect greatness every season, and anything less feels like the universe is broken. Mavs fans are sad because they watched their entire future get shipped off to Los Angeles. Luka, their superstar, and pretty much the only reason they woke up in the morning, got traded for Anthony Davis, Max Christie, and a far-off pick. Luka wasn't just a player, he was their hope for the next decade. He dragged them to the finals, nearly averaged a triple-double in the playoffs. And now, he's running the show in Los Angeles, while Mavs fans sit around wondering how it all fell apart so fast. To make it worse, Anthony Davis barely lasted 31 minutes before getting hurt.
Why they show
because,
two pictures of him grabbing on his shit?
of course he did. Kyrie Irving tore his ACL and is done for the season. The injuries just keep stacking up. Gafford, Lively, Washington. Everyone's falling apart. Fans are looking at their lineup and thinking it's a cruel joke. The team's barely clinging to a play-in spot, while Luka's out there dropping triple-doubles like it's nothing. Mavs fans are sad because they didn't just lose their...
I will say, I woke up on NBA like algorithms the day that he got traded. I didn't know what the fuck was going on. People was freaking out. I started seeing so many Luka Instagram posts, thread posts, TikToks. I'm like, what the fuck happened? But I guess he was really the GOAT over there. And they did it like kind of like shady, I guess.
Star, they lost their soul, and every game feels like watching a dream die. Sixers fans are patient because they've basically been forced to be. This is a fan base that sat through the process, watching their team lose on purpose just to collect draft picks. They suffered through 10-win seasons, knowing the payoff was supposed to come later. And when they finally got Joel Embiid and Ben Simmons, it felt like their patience was paying off, until it wasn't. Simmons refused to shoot, melted down in the playoffs, and eventually forced his way out. Fans waited years
Oh no, they did, but yeah.
to shoot, melted down in the playoffs, and eventually forced his way out. Fans waited years for him to become a star, and he just never did. Then there's Embiid. He's incredible when healthy, but that's always the catch. This season alone, he's barely played, and fans are stuck watching him sit while the team falls apart. Add in injuries to Jared McCain and Tyrese Maxey having to carry way too much, and it's no wonder Sixers fans feel like they're always waiting. They've waited for picks to pan out, for Simmons to grow up, and for Embiid's body to hold together. Sixers fans are patient because they don't have a choice. They've been living in wait mode forever. Wizards fans are doomed because every single thing about this team feels cursed. They're stuck with the worst record in the league at 17-60, and it's not even a fun kind of bad. They've lost 16 games in a row twice this season, and fans are out here posting stuff like, "We're not just bad, we're cursed forever." Even the dream of tanking feels hopeless since the lottery odds are flattened, and knowing their luck, they'll probably fall out of the top 3.
Damn, ain't this who Draymond Green punched? Oh, damn, I know his name too, bro. Damn, I know his name. I forget. Damn, that's Lonzo Ball.
The injuries have been brutal too. Bilal Coulibaly, who was actually giving them hope, tore his hamstring and is done for the year. Marcus Smart came over at the deadline, but he's barely played. And when he does, he's ice cold from the field. Malcolm Brogdon's body is basically falling apart. Kyle Kuzma got traded for Chris Middleton, but Middleton's been shooting bricks and limping around like it's over.
Yeah.
Wizards fans feel trapped because the rebuild already looks like it's falling apart. They're watching
Draymond Green
broken
be
trades,
punching everybody,
injured
bruh?
players, and losses pile up like clockwork.
He got some
It's
trauma
misery
he's
from every
dealing
direction.
with.
Bucks fans are believers because they've hitched their entire hope to Giannis and never let go. No matter what's going on around him, they trust Giannis will carry them through anything. This season's been a mess at times. Bad start, roster shakeups, injury,
That's what I'm
but
saying,
Giannis keeps showing up
bro.
like
He
a
be
machine.
putting his
He's
hands
averaging
on
over 31
everybody,
points,
bro.
nearly 12 rebounds, and almost 6 assists. And fans treat every game like proof they're still in the hunt. Even when the team opened with 1 win and 6 losses, fans stayed locked in, saying Giannis would figure it out. And sure enough, he's battling through injuries himself, like that left foot sprain, and still dropping 37 points against the Suns like it's nothing.
Plenty
Add in
you
his
want,
loyalty.
Mod?
He's flat out said
I
he's
get
not
plenty,
asking for a
Mod.
trade. And Bucks fans have all the reason in the world to believe. They see Giannis as the foundation,
If he wants
the constant,
that,
the
I'm not gonna
unstoppable
cast
force.
that upon
to them,
that brother.
It doesn't matter what the standings say
You let
or
me
who's
say
hurt.
the word,
As long
Plenty.
as Giannis is out there, they believe anything's possible. Rockets. Rockets fans are needy because half of them treat every single superstar rumor like it's a lifeline. The moment any big name even hints at being unhappy, this fan base lights up like they're ready to send the entire roster in a trade. They finally got a young core that's looking strong, made the playoffs for the first time in years, and yet fans act like it's not good enough unless they land the next shiny superstar. Jalen Green, Alperen Sengun, Jabari Smith, all under 25, all showing real promise, and still half the fan base is begging for a trade, like they're starving. What's wild is this team finished second in the West. They've proven they can win without rushing into desperation move, but the moment the Rockets lose a game, the trade machine gets fired up. Some fans want patience to let this group grow and see if they can deliver in the playoff. Others want instant gratification.
Hey, also, I need a soundboard. I need your help.
Rockets fans are needy because no matter how good things look, they're always searching for something bigger instead of enjoying what's already building. Suns fans are crazy because they treat Devin Booker like he's the answer to every single problem, no matter what. Booker becomes the franchise's all-time leading scorer, and fans act like that alone guarantees a title. He's loyal, he's electric, and Suns fans believe with everything in them that he's carrying them to the promised land. Even when the roster around him is crumbling, they've got full faith that Booker can do it all by himself if he has to. When the team traded for Bradley Beal, fans were hyped, like they just won the lottery. But once the season started...
This is actually a genuine question. Do teams intentionally try to have a bad season so they can get a better pick in the draft? I feel like that's something that is like a team that's like always doing bad. I feel like that's something they would do. Like if it's like, damn, bro, we ain't got nobody going on, so we about to just go ahead and like just tank the whole season just to get a better spot.
Slipping. Some flipped completely, blaming Beal and saying he ruined the team. His no-trade clause and relaxed attitude during tough stretches drove them nuts. And then there's Kevin Durant. Fans are so split, it's chaos. Some want to keep him forever, while others are actually calling to trade him and build entirely around Booker. Suns fans are crazy because they swing from celebration to meltdown in seconds.
That's good lore.
Living and dying with every move.
I don't be sitting with people that I know that do sports heavy, and I'm like, they would like, I'm gonna try to make a scenario, bro. They'll be like, damn, bro, my team losing. Fuck. I'm like, shit, at least y'all have a better spot in the draft, bro. I'm gonna just be like, it's gonna be like a group of people like, bro, my team, man, they losing bad. I'm gonna be like, shit, at least y'all gonna have a better spot in the draft. That's gonna be my only talking point.
Convince Booker is the one to save it all.
God damn, bro. Everything revolves around money. It's financially benefit. They're gonna do it. Okay.
Timberwolves fans are ride or die because no matter what this team puts them through, they never even think about jumping.
Nah, I know bro a demon too. Anthony Edwards. Of course I know his name. I heard bro's a demon.
This is a franchise with barely any playoff success since they started, but you'd never know it from the way their fans show up every single time. During their huge Game 7 in 2024, hundreds of fans packed into a beer garden just to watch it on a screen, like their lives depended on it. That's dedication you just do not see everywhere. Anthony Edwards has turned this loyalty into full-blown belief. He's electric on the court, and fans treat him like the hero they've waited their whole lives for. Even when the team traded Karl Anthony Towns, a player they'd supported for years, fans stayed locked in. They didn't panic, they doubled down, though some did freak out. But Timberwolves fans are ride or die because they've lived through every heartbreak, every roster change, and every painful season, and they still show up loud and proud. They believe in this team no matter what, because for them, it's never been about ease. It's about loyalty. Bulls fans are passionate because their love for this team runs way deeper than wins and losses. The Jordan era built a legacy so strong that even decades later, fans still pack the United Center like it's the 90s all over again. They call it the Madhouse on Madison for a reason. The energy inside is unreal, no matter what the standings say. Even during the rough years, fans never quit. During the pandemic, almost all of them kept the faith, showing they're locked in no matter what. This fan base is worldwide too. The Bulls are always near the top in merchandise sales and global viewership, proof that their impact never faded. They live for moments like Derrick Rose's jersey retirement in January 2025, which hit every emotional note for fans who see him as a hometown legend. They also celebrated the team's first Ring of Honor, honoring their greats and deepening that bond. Bulls fans are passionate because they care about everything. Every draft pick, every trade, every piece of history. Win or lose, they bleed Bulls red every single day. Cavs fans are grateful because they've seen it all, and right now feels like the reward for every rough season they've survived. It all started when they drafted LeBron James back in 2003, their hometown hero from Akron. He didn't just put Cleveland on the map, he ended their 52-year championship drought with that unforgettable title in 2016. That moment is carved into the hearts of every single fan who stuck around through the dark times. Fast forward to now, and the Cavs are the #1 seed in the East with a 62-16 record. Fans are loving every second of it. They've got a stacked squad with Donovan Mitchell lighting it up, Darius Garland running the show, and big men Evan Mobley and Jarrett Allen controlling the paint. Even DeAndre Hunter's addition has made them
That boy look like an old
Mobley
school hooper.
and Jarrett Allen.
This is like they took this from a yearbook in like 1990, 91.
Controlling the paint. Even DeAndre Hunter's addition has made them deeper and tougher. Under new coach Kenny Atkinson, they lead the league in offensive rating.
Nah, I get
and
the
play with
moisturizer
balance
in for
all
sure.
over the
I
floor.
can't have a
Cavs
big
fans
head
are
and
grateful
ashy.
because they've gone
I gotta
from
pick an
heartbreak
issue.
to hope, and now they're
I have
chasing
to pick
another
an issue.
title.
I can't do it all.
Magic fans are basically non-existent because outside of Orlando, it feels like no one even remembers this team exists. Sure, the arena fills up pretty well, but let's be honest, a big chunk of that is tourists who just wanted something to do after Disney World. The team's got some young talent, and they've made a little noise, but you'd never know it scrolling through social media. Compared to the energy
Who's the worst team in the NBA right now?
the other fan bases bring, the Magic's online presence feels like shouting into an empty gym. Even when they finally put together a decent season, it barely moves the needle. Their subreddit exists, but it feels more like a support group than a rowdy fan base. You'll see the same dozen loyal fans posting game threads and hoping for wins, but it never really catches fire. The truth is, the Magic could win 10 in a row and half the basketball world wouldn't notice. Magic fans are non-existent because they've got a team that barely makes headlines. And even when things are going right, it feels like no one's really paying attention. Clippers fans are hungry because they've spent their entire lives waiting for that first championship, and it still hasn't come. Since the team started in
Is that the Clippers logo? Since when has the Clippers logo looked like this? This looks way more complex. I thought it was just like a C or some shit.
1970, they've been stuck in this
See,
fifth
that's the
championship, and it still hasn't come. Since the team started
Buffalo Braves. That's good ball knowledge. That's amazing ball knowledge. I can see it now. I'm just out at the bar, just chilling. It's like, yeah, the Clippers really go crazy. I'm nah, the Buffalo Braves really hit it.
in 1970, they've been stuck in this 54-year drought, watching other teams celebrate while they just keep hoping. Even in Los Angeles, they're constantly overshadowed by the Lakers, which only makes their hunger burn hotter. They've built contender after contender, and still, the trophy case is empty. Fans are desperate to finally break through. Kawhi Leonard and Paul George were supposed to be the guys to get it done. Every playoff run feels like it could be the one. Clippers fans don't just want a title.
Now, what I do remember is, like, wasn't Chris Paul, Blake Griffin all on that team? Like, early Clippers, like Chris Paul, Blake Griffin, there's somebody else that was on that team.
They need
I
it.
forget.
They've ridden out relocations, injuries, heartbreak, and every disappointment. you
Man,
can
like
imagine.
that,
And
hit
still,
that like button
they
for
show
show.
up loud and
Hit that
loyal
like button
because
for
they believe
show.
this could be the year. Clippers fans are hungry because they've waited forever, and they're starving for the moment when they finally get to celebrate. Trailblazers fans are loyal because no matter how tough it
Atlanta
gets,
Hawks
they
were the
never
St.
turn their
Louis
backs on
Hawks.
this team.
Oh,
They've been ride
good
or
ball
die
knowledge.
since the 70s, when Blazer Mania took over Portland and never really left. Even during brutal stretches like the early 2000s when the team was falling apart on and off the court, fans kept showing up. Sure, attendance dipped a bit, But the passion never disappeared. These fans are built for the long haul. Even now, deep in a rebuild, they're still packing the arena. Last season, they finished with a losing record, but still averaged over 18,000 fans at home games. In a small market like Portland, that means everything. Players actually feel the love, because in this city, the team and the fans are like family. From the glory days of their lone championship to the grind of today, Rip City fans
This is actually a good video, bro. This is what I'm saying. Like, I feel like I'm getting the actual lore.
keep the energy alive. Trailblazers fans are loyal because through every high, every low, and every painful rebuild, they've stayed true to their team without blinking. Grizzlies fans are gritty because they've built their whole identity on toughness and heart. Back in the early 2000s, the grit and grind era took over Memphis, and the fans embraced it like it was part of their DNA. Guys like Tony Allen, Zach Randolph, Mark Gasol, and Mike Conley turned defense and hustle into an art form, and the fans matched that same energy every single night. Tony Allen especially became a fan
Y'all
favorite,
give a damn
locking down
about learning
superstars
soccer?
and proudly calling himself the
Shit.
grind fighter. Even today,
I
that
can.
gritty attitude lives on in the crowd. The growl
Ain't the World Cup about to happen? Or am I thinking of the Olympics?
towels are always flying in playoff games, and the whoop that trick chants shake the whole arena like a rally cry. Fans in Memphis show up loud and fearless, no matter what the standings say.
Memphis, man.
They've stuck with the team through injuries, tough playoff exits, and growing pains because they see the fight in their players and bring the same fire themselves. Grizzlies fans are gritty because just like their team, they never back down, never stop pushing, and take pride in every single battle. Pistons fans are finally happy because after a decade of pure misery, they've got a team that's actually fun to watch. For years, they were stuck at the bottom of the standings, getting clowned as the NBA's punching bag. Last season, they finished with just 14 wins, and fans were begging for something, anything, to change. Now with a 43-35 record, they've locked up their first winning season since 2016, and the energy in Detroit is electric. It all started when they brought in Trajan Langdon to run the front office and hired J.B. Bickerstaff as head coach. The culture flipped overnight. Cade Cunningham has been the star fans were
That's
dreaming
a hell
about,
of a
finally
name.
making his first All-Star team while averaging nearly 26
Stock
points
X.
and over 9 assists. Add in veterans like Tim Hardaway Jr. and Malik Beasley, and the Pistons suddenly have balance and leadership. Fans who spent years watching blowouts are now watching playoff clinchers. Pistons fans are finally happy because they've gone from hopeless to hopeful, and for the first time in forever, the future feels bright. Nets fans are lost because their team feels like it's wandering
Jesus.
with no map and no destination. A few years ago, they were dreaming of titles with Kevin Durant, Kyrie, and James Harden. Now they're stuck with a 19-58 record, tied for the worst in the
video must be
league.
from last
And
year.
it
Nah,
feels
it's
like
from
no
this
one
year.
knows what the plan is anymore.
7
They
months
traded
ago?
Bridges to the Knicks for picks, although some fans loved it. But injuries have only made things worse. Cam Thomas, their top scorer, missed time with a hamstring strain, and even when he's out there, he's not the same. Nick Claxton's been a bright spot, but he's battled injuries too. D'Angelo Russell came back from the Lakers, but of course,
Ain't this buddy that was snitching? Wasn't he like on the Lakers and like he had like a issue or something? There was like a problem or something, like he was like recording somebody or something. I forget, bro. I remember it was like a big thing.
he got hurt almost immediately. Every time they try to build momentum, it falls apart. Trades keep stacking up, but none of them feel like they're leading anywhere. Nets fans are lost
It's
because
from
they've
last
gone
season?
from
Oh, okay.
chasing championships to chasing lottery odds. And right now, nothing makes sense. Pelicans fans are suffering because every time they think this team's finally about to take off, it all collapses. Zion Williamson is the biggest reason for the pain. When he plays, he's unstoppable, dropping over 24 points a game on crazy efficiency,
snitched on
throwing down
Nick
dunks
Young.
like he's in a video
Oh, yeah,
game,
that's what it
and
was.
racking up triple doubles without breaking a sweat. But he just cannot stay on the floor. His season ended early again with a back injury, and fans are left watching highlights while he rehabs, wondering what could have been. The injuries have been brutal across the board. CJ McCollum went down, Murray tore his Achilles, and Trey Murphy and Herb Jones both had surgery. It's like the whole roster fell apart at once. Even with all that talent, they've crashed to a 20-57 record. Fans feel cursed, watching a team built for the playoff crumble into a lottery team. Pelicans fans are suffering because they've got a star who shines bright but flickers out too fast, and a season full of injuries that's crushed their hope yet again.
Knowing how long it takes me to edit certain videos where I'm adding like pop-ups and adding different things, I know this video took so fucking long to make Just like all the little clips, all the little cutouts, all the like motion with images. This shit probably took forever.
Pacers. Pacers fans might be corn because they're literally only from Indiana, because no one outside the state seems to care or even notice they exist. This is Indiana's team through and through. Basketball runs deep in the state, from giant high school gyms to legends like Reggie Miller. And Pacers fans treat the team like it's part of their DNA. With Tyrese Halliburton hooping, sometimes the fan base is fired up, but mostly in Indiana. Outside the borders, crickets. They're a small market team with small market reach. Their games are tough to find on national TV, and their attendance barely cracks the top 20 in the league. Even people in nearby cities like Louisville lean more toward college teams or the Colts. Most Pacers fans have some Indiana tie, whether it's growing up in the state or having family there. They celebrate every win like a state holiday, because for them it is. Pacers fans are literally only from Indiana because their loyalty is local. Their passion is homegrown, and the rest of the world just isn't watching. Hawks. Hawks fans are in pain because this season feels like the cruelest joke imaginable. They came in with hopes of a playoff push, and instead, they kinda suck. It's brutal to watch, especially since Trae Young is still out here, putting up over 23 points and 15 assists in games like their wild win over Utah. But even with Trae doing everything he can, the roster around him has fallen to pieces. The injuries have been nonstop. Jalen Johnson was having...
That's dope. That's a dope ass idea. Damn, that's a fire ass idea. I'm dreading learning how to edit. I'm gonna be learning everything from scratch. Well, the good thing is you don't have anything to base upon. So like you're gonna be going into it with no expectations. Like, oh, I gotta keep up this type of editing style. I gotta keep up. You're gonna be learning everything as you go. And then once you have it, you got it. You can't necessarily lose it.
A breakout year before his season-ending labrum tear. Larry Nance Jr. went down, and Clint Capella still sidelined with a hand injury. Okongwu's knee troubles just pile on, and if that wasn't enough, the trades gutted whatever depth they had left. DeAndre Hunter got sent to Cleveland. Bogdan's gone too, and the returns haven't done much. Hawks fans are in pain because their team went from conference finals dreams to a nightmare, watching injuries and bad trades destroy a season that never even had a chance. Shout out Dyson Daniels though. Hornets. Hornets fans are irrelevant because outside of Charlotte, no one really talks about them. And honestly, most people forget they exist until LaMelo Ball pulls off a flashy pass. In North Carolina, basketball pride runs deep, but it's all about Duke, North Carolina, and high school gyms, bigger than some pro arenas. The Hornets get buried under that, stuck fighting for attention in their own backyard. When big teams like the Lakers or Celtics roll through, their fans take over the arena like it's a home game. And Hornets fans just have to sit there and take it. They've got history, sure. People still remember the teal and purple from the 90s and guys like Muggsy and Alonzo Mourning, but that buzz never really...
I ain't gonna lie, bro. The color combo of the Hornets is actually elite combos. That teal and purple, elite combos.
They made it past state lines. They're not loud enough to stir up league-wide debate, and they're not winning enough to demand respect. Even when LaMelo lights it up, he's fighting for highlights against bigger names. Hornets fans are irrelevant because their loyalty stays trapped inside Charlotte, while the rest of the league barely notices they're even there. Kings fans are devoted because they've stuck with this team through everything, no matter how bleak it's gotten. Sacramento isn't a city full of casual fans hopping on the latest trend. This is a small market town where the Kings are the heartbeat and every game feels personal. Back in 2013, when there were serious talks about the team moving to Seattle, fans rallied, like their entire identity was on the line. They fought hard, kept the team.
Damn, being from the Bay and Sac is only like an hour and 10 minutes away. That's good basketball lore to know.
In town and built Golden One Center like it was a monument to their loyalty. They've survived endless losing seasons and draft lottery heartbreaks, but fans never bailed. They kept packing the arena, clanging cowbells, and showing up with a fire that never faded. Even when bigger markets get the spotlight, Kings fans don't care. They're in it for their team, not the headlines. Lighting the beam after wins has become their symbol, a bright purple statement that belongs to them alone. Kings fans are devoted because they've made this team part of who they are, and no matter what, they're never letting go. Spurs fans are quiet because they've been trained by years of steady success to keep their voices low and their expectations high. They're not the type to flood social media with hot takes or chant in every timeline. They'd rather let the game do the talking. Back in the Tim Duncan, Tony Parker, and Manu days, they collected 5 titles without turning it into a circus. The fans loved every second of it, but they didn't feel the need to shout it from the rooftops. Their attitude's simple. The banners are already hanging, so what's left to prove? Being from a small market like San Antonio just adds to this quiet confidence. Fans are fiercely loyal, but they're not chasing attention. They enjoy watching stars like Victor Wembanyama develop, appreciating every block and smooth three-pointer without begging for national headlines. Rivals love to poke fun, saying Spurs fans are so quiet, you forget they exist. But the fans just shrug it off. Spurs fans are quiet because they don't care about the noise. They know greatness doesn't need to be loud to be legendary. Raptors fans are...
Yeah, no, I agree with plenty, bro. Me harping on trying to be perfect with a video will ultimately lead me to not putting the video out. I think just remember to like have fun with this shit, stay consistent, and just show up. I think that's like the main takeaways. Cause like, bro, I'm like working on something right now, and I had to go look back and watch my first video on YouTube 3 years ago. Terrible video. Jesus. I mean, just even the way I talk, bro, I was just like, oh my God, shut the like literally, bro. But like, shit, gotta start somewhere.
Worried because they've seen what the top of the mountain looks like, and now they're scared they might be sliding back down into obscurity. Ever since that championship, when Kawhi Leonard hit the shot heard around the world, there's been this lingering anxiety about whether they could ever reach those heights again. With Kawhi gone, almost instantly, they've pinned their hopes on Scotty Barnes. And while he's blossomed into a do-it-all force, fans still can't shake the fear he might not be enough to carry the whole franchise. The roster moves have only added to the nerves. Trading away Pascal and OG for younger pieces felt like waving the white flag on the old core. And now the fan base is left clinging to guys like RJ Barrett and Quickly, hoping they'll develop into stars. Every draft pick, every injury, every front office decision feels way bigger than it should. Raptors fans are worried because they know what it feels like to be champions, and the thought of fading back into the middle of the pack keeps them restless. Jazz fans are heartbroken because they watched their golden era slip right through their fingers. They had it all not long ago. Donovan Mitchell lighting up defenses, Rudy Gobert locking down the paint.
Ain't that the dude that started the pandemic?
Donovan Mitchell lighting up defenses,
Didn't he start the pandemic when he touched the mics? Didn't these two play a part in that?
Gobert locking down the paint and the dream of finally breaking through. Fans still feel the sting of blowing that 2-0 lead to the Clippers in the playoffs, knowing that team had the firepower to go all the way. Then the trades came, and just like that, their core was scattered. Mitchell's a star in Cleveland, Gobert's anchoring Minnesota, and Utah fans are left clutching memories instead of banners. It hurts even more because this is a fan base that lives and breathes their team. The Jazz are the heartbeat of Utah, and fans poured everything into believing that Mitchell-Gobert duo was their path to redemption. Now, they're watching from a distance as their old stars thrive elsewhere. Jazz fans are heartbroken because they've lost more than players. They've lost a shot at glory, and no amount of draft picks can fill that void.
That was a good fucking video, bro. That's a great video. I don't know. I feel like I'm becoming like a real basketball head. I don't know, bro. I feel like I know some shit now. If you would have asked me 2 weeks ago, like, you know, just to chop it up, have a conversation about basketball, telling you, bro, it would have lasted maybe 2 minutes. I could only hold up 2 minutes for a conversation when it came to basketball. Now, I know some little shit. You know what I mean? I know some little shit right now. I feel like I know some shit. This is what y'all been holding out. Ooh. Favorite player. You know, there's like a few. Like, even just like, there's like, obviously the main players are the ones that, like, you know, I'm aware of. So like the Damian Lillard, I know Westbrook, Kevin Durant, Stephen Curry, fucking Klay Thompson, LeBron James, Giannis, you know, all these players that have that stardom factor to them. If I had to pick one, I'd say Kyrie Irving, bro, for real. I say Rondo used to be my favorite 10 years ago. I say Kyrie Oh, Jamal Crawford. I think Jamal Crawford used to play for the Clippers. Jamal Crawford had it like, I knew just because like when I used to play 2K and I go like to my friend's house and they'd be playing 2K and I just grab sticks, I'll pick the Clippers. Jamal Crawford used to be the shifty, like he and pull up and still cash a three. Like, bro really was going crazy. But I never watched him play though. I only played 2K and I was using him as a character. But yeah, Jamal Crawford was really that one. Damn, I low-key want to watch this video. Every NBA player's most shameful scandal.
What do you say?
That's good videos, bro. That's good videos.
Weren't exactly a secret, but things got real messy when those private bets started showing up in courtrooms and investigations. Back in the early 90s, the spotlight hit hard after a check worth $57,000.
Hold on. Harden and Ant is my favorite now. Harden dropped 55 today with a dab bot. Yeah. Oh, you gonna do Vox at PBS Origins? Yeah, I'll do a Vox for sure. I'll do Vox. Karl Malone. Nah, I think it was a TikTok trend when people was talking about Karl Malone.
$1,000 turned up in a convicted drug dealer's account. Jordan first called it a loan, but later told the court it was for golf and poker losses. Not great. That same year, 3 checks totaling $108,000 were found in a murdered bail bondsman's briefcase. Yep, also for gambling debts. Then a businessman named Richard Esquinas dropped a book claiming Jordan owed him over $1 million from a wild golf trip. Jordan didn't deny the debt completely, but he laughed off the number. They settled on $300,000, paid in chunks. Meanwhile, Jordan was also getting spotted at casinos during playoff runs and betting on just about anything, from blackjack to cartoon races on the arena screen. All of it was technically legal, but it created enough heat that the NBA launched 2 investigations. Both cleared him of breaking rules. Still, those headlines didn't help his image, and when he retired in 1993, people were quick to jump on conspiracy theories. No evidence ever backed, just a lot of smoke, no fire. LeBron James. The China controversy kicked off in October 2019 after a tweet from Daryl Morey stirred international tension. Morey, then with the Rockets, tweeted support for Hong Kong protesters, and China did not take it lightly. They cut ties with the Rockets, shut off broadcasts, and yanked sponsorships, costing the league hundreds of millions. The NBA tried to calm the waters with a statement about free speech that managed to upset both sides. When LeBron finally spoke up, it didn't help. He said Morey wasn't educated on the issue and warned about the tweet's consequences. He wasn't questioning free speech, he claimed, but rather the timing. He said players in China could have been harmed physically and financially. That message landed like a brick. Protesters in Hong Kong burned his jerseys. And back in the US, people called him a sellout. Politicians jumped in, accusing him of protecting business interests. In 2022, a report said LeBron had been furious about the tweet while in China, partly because it might have threatened his movie. Then in 2023, Enes Kanter Freedom blasted him for ignoring human rights. There were even unverified rumors in 2025 about cheating and strange ties to Diddy's party. No solid proof, just noise. Through all this, LeBron never supported China's policies, but his words painted a picture that a lot of people were not happy with. Steph Curry. In early 2023, he and his wife Aisha stirred up the storm by trying to block a housing development next to their $31 million mansion in Atherton, California. The proposed project would have added 16 townhouses on a nearby lot, including 4 moderate income units. That's moderate, not low income. Despite what headlines said, Atherton had to approve projects like this to meet California's housing mandate, but not everyone in town was thrilled. The Currys sent a letter to the city council asking them to exclude the site. They said they supported the housing initiative, but didn't want it literally in their backyard. Their main concern? Privacy and safety. They weren't thrilled about people being able to look straight into their backyard from 40-foot tall buildings. They even asked for taller fences if the project went through. They weren't alone. Other residents, including billionaires, voiced opposition over things like traffic and...
Now, who the fuck are these people? Like, who are these people, bro? This don't even look like this is the U.S. They just dropped a random family in here and said they're billionaires.
zoning. Despite that, the council approved the plan, though they left room to possibly scale it down. Nothing's been built yet, and the final outcomes still pending. Meanwhile, people went wild online. Critics called it hypocrisy, especially since Curry's known for backing social justice causes. Others defended him, saying privacy matters, especially for a celebrity with young kids. It didn't touch his career. He kept racking up awards and political endorsements. The town kept debating zoning laws, and the internet kept arguing about whether fences or values mattered more. Chris Paul. This one's wild. Back in January of 2018, things got real tense after a heated game between the Rockets and Clippers. The Clippers won, sure, but that was just the opening act. Chris Paul had only just left the Clippers for the Rockets, and let's just say he didn't exactly get a cake and goodbye hugs on the way out. Tensions were already hot between Paul, Blake Griffin, and Austin Rivers, and after all the chirping and ejections during the game, it boiled over. After the final buzzer, Trevor Ariza, James Harden, Gerald Green, and Chris Paul decided they weren't done. They actually tried to confront Griffin and Rivers in the Clippers locker room. Paul used his old knowledge of the arena's layout to guide the group through a back hallway. Ariza led the charge, while Paul was described as just lingering. Yeah, real stealthy. Security and staff shut it down before it got physical, but the drama was enough to get the LAPD involved. Clint Capella, meanwhile, was knocking on the front door like this was some sort of coordinated ambush. The league stepped in fast. Ariza and Green got hit with suspensions. Paul and Harden, the NBA labeled them peacemakers, so they walked away clean. It was messy, petty, and for a minute, it had the league buzzing. By the way, if you guys want to subscribe, I'm gonna start posting every day. Thanks. Anyways, Kobe Bryant. In 2003, Kobe's name dominated headlines for all the wrong reasons. While staying at a Colorado resort ahead of knee surgery, he invited a 19-year-old hotel employee to his room. What followed led to one of the most publicized allegations in NBA history. The woman accused him of rape, claiming things started consensual but turned violent. She described being choked and assaulted, saying Kobe ignored her saying no multiple times. Physical evidence backed parts of her story. Bruises, lacerations, and his semen were found, along with her blood on his shirt. Kobe initially denied any sexual contact. When evidence surfaced, he admitted to cheating on his wife but insisted the act was consensual. He was arrested, posted bond, and returned to play while juggling court appearances. The criminal case was dismissed when the accuser chose not to testify, citing threats and relentless media scrutiny. Later, a civil suit was filed and settled out of court, with both sides under a non-disclosure agreement. Bryant issued a public apology, acknowledging the accuser didn't view the encounter the way he did. The apology wasn't a confession, but it sparked debate. The case haunted his image for years, even as he rebuilt his brand and won more titles. After his death in 2020, tributes largely skipped over the case, fueling renewed controversy over how legacies are shaped. Chris Webber. The Ed Martin scandal followed Webber like a shadow from high school all the way into his NBA prime. At the heart of it was cash, lots of it, allegedly.
I feel like I'm really in this shit right now, bro. I don't know. I feel like I'm really in this shit right now. Like, I feel like I'm in it. Like, I'm talking about in it. I feel like I'm really in it right now.
Flowing from Martin, a former auto worker running an illegal gambling ring, straight to Webber and a few other Michigan stars. Martin claimed he gave Webber nearly $280,000 to $80,000, starting back in 8th grade. Webber denied it, even under oath. That's when things unraveled. In 2002, Martin pleaded guilty to laundering over $600,000. He told the feds he handed Webber cash, paid rent, and even covered expenses for jewelry and clothes. Webber had told a grand jury he didn't remember receiving anything like that.
Nah, that's the face of somebody that received a little cash. It may not be 100,000, but he received a little bit of cash.
They indicted him, his dad, and his aunt. Eventually, just before trial, Webber admitted he lied. He pleaded guilty to criminal contempt and confessed he repaid Martin $38,000 after turning pro. He avoided jail, but had to do community service, pay $100,000, and carry a misdemeanor record. The fallout for Michigan was brutal. They vacated wins, pulled down banners, and cut ties with Webber for 10 years. The Fab Five legacy tarnished. Teammates like Jalen Rose felt betrayed. Webber kept quiet, rarely addressing it until years later, when Michigan's athletic director apologized for how it all went down. Still, the scandal stuck, even after his Hall of Fame nod. Magic Johnson. In November of 1991, Magic stunned the world when he stood at a podium and announced he had tested positive for HIV. At the time, he was one of the most beloved players in basketball. 5 championships, 3 MVPs, and the heart of the Lakers Showtime era. What made the moment bigger was the weight of the era. HIV was still seen as a death sentence and largely misunderstood. Magic changed that overnight. He discovered his status after a routine physical for life insurance. The team doctor called with the news. He told his wife, Cookie, who was pregnant. Both she and their son tested negative. A few weeks later, he retired, announcing he would become an advocate and prove HIV wasn't the end. And that's exactly what he did. Magic didn't fade away. He played in the 1992 All-Star Game, took home MVP, then suited up for the Dream Team in Barcelona, winning gold. He attempted a comeback later that year.
And that's a tough ass jacket, bro. This is the type of shit that I be wanting. Like, I need to find this somewhere. This is tough.
But pressure from players forced him back out temporarily. In 1996, he returned for 32 games,
96.
showing the league he could still play and live with the virus. His foundation launched outreach and education efforts, pushing testing and reducing stigma. Through advocacy and example, he shifted the conversation. He's lived healthily for decades on treatment with an undetectable viral load. His announcement wasn't just news, it was a turning point for public health and sports. Larry Bird, when he took over as the Pacers president in August of 2003, he wasted no time cutting ties with Isaiah Thomas. Just like that, Bird fired Thomas and brought in Rick Carlisle, someone he trusted more. Thomas had gone 3 straight seasons without making it out of the first round, despite a roster with playoff talent. Bird didn't think things were trending up. The team had collapsed in the second half of the previous season, and Bird said he didn't see any urgency to fix it. Bird wasn't vague. He said it wasn't about Thomas's play calling, but about a gut feeling. He called out wasn't vague. He said,
hold on, you got the kicks on. What the hell are these though? These look crazy. They don't look like no Nikes though. What are these? I can't make
it
them
wasn't
out.
about Thomas's play calling, but about a gut feeling. He called out the lack of communication, saying he barely even spoke with Thomas during the offseason. And while Jermaine O'Neal reportedly wanted Thomas to stay, Bird felt the support from the rest of the locker room just wasn't strong enough. Thomas didn't exactly go quietly. He later said Bird made a mistake, claimed they could have been dynamic, and even suggested he could have prevented the infamous brawl in Detroit a year later. He also shared that Bird told him, "You haven't done anything wrong."
Also,
in Detroit a year
brawl. If I'm remembering this correctly, isn't this the one that spilled over into the the crowd too, and like regular civilians was getting punched out by like 6, 7.
Later, he also shared that Bird told him, "You haven't done anything wrong. I just like Rick better." Cold. Carlisle did lead the Pacers to 61 wins the next year, so Bird's move looked pretty solid at first. But the drama stuck around. Thomas' comments kept the tension alive, and fans debated it for years. A rivalry from the 80s spilled right into the front office. Draymond Green. Things blew up in October 2022 when Green punched teammate Jordan Poole during practice. It wasn't just any scuffle. This one got caught on video and leaked online, making a private team moment into a full-blown media circus. The punch didn't just knock Poole back, it rattled the Warriors' whole locker room. At the time, Green was a 32-year-old veteran with 4 championship rings and a rep for being fiery. Poole was just 23, on the rise, and fresh off, helping the team win a title. They were supposed to represent the Warriors' past and future, but instead...
I wonder, had that moment not been caught on camera, would they sell their differences and still been able to work together? Like, because obviously it's on camera, so now you got to deal with like the public humiliation, whatever. Like, you got to deal with that. So I wonder if like this had never hit the internet, would they been able to like work it out?
Their clash turned into a chemistry killer. Rumors swirled that money talks triggered it. Poole had just inked a massive 4-year extension while Green was still waiting. Green denied that had anything to do with it, but the timing didn't help. Green stepped away after the punch and apologized, calling it one of his biggest failures. He wasn't suspended, just fined, which made fans and analysts furious. The damage lingered. Green admitted it messed up their vibe all season. They lost in the playoffs, and Poole got traded to Washington. The punch wasn't just one moment. It became a turning point that derailed a dynasty and exposed cracks in their whole 2-timeline plan. Penny Hardaway. Things got messy fast when the NCAA caught wind of an $11,500 payment he gave to James Wiseman's family in 2017. At the time, Hardaway was coaching high school ball and not yet Memphis head coach. But because he donated $1 million to the school in 2008, the NCAA considered him a booster. When Wiseman committed to Memphis in 2018, all eyes locked in. Then Memphis made it worse by playing Wiseman even after the NCAA flagged the payment. They took it to court and let him play 3 games. That stunt turned a violation into a firestorm. Wiseman left in December. The NCAA launched a deep dive and things spiraled. By 2022, Memphis got slapped with 3 years of probation and a budget cut. Hardaway got off clean, but the stain stuck. Then came more violations. In 2023, he was suspended 3 games for recruiting visits he wasn't supposed to make. And in 2024, a mystery letter accused him of even more payments and academic fraud, including payments tied to recruits and a shady advisor allegedly doing homework for players. Hardaway fired a bunch of staff after that, swore he just wanted to win, and
I ain't gonna lie, that tie crispy than a mother though.
Kept coaching. Memphis keeps saying they're fixing it. Meanwhile, the program
I gotta get to the Vox. Vox. Oh, Karl Malone.
record looks nice, but the off-court chaos is doing most of the talk. Karl Malone. Back in 1983, he was a 20-year-old college player at Louisiana Tech when he impregnated Gloria Bell, a 13-year-old girl from his hometown. The age of consent in Louisiana was 17, so legally, this was statutory rape. Bell gave birth to a son in 1984, Demetrius Bell, while Malone continued rising in basketball without any criminal charges. Bell's family didn't press charge. They reportedly felt Malone could support the child better if he wasn't in prison. In 1986, a paternity suit proved Malone was the father. He was ordered to pay $100 to $25 a week, but tried to argue that amount was too high. They reached a confidential settlement later, but Malone didn't acknowledge his son and gave no support beyond what the court forced. When Demetrius reached out at 17, Malone told him it was too late. The relationship started to thaw in 2014. By 2018, they were on good terms and Demetrius even appeared in family posts, but the damage had already been done. The story resurfaced during The Last Dance, and again during the 2023 NBA All-Star Weekend, when Malone appeared as a contest judge. The backlash was huge, especially online. Malone's been honored repeatedly, from a statue in Utah to awards in his name. But for a lot of people, no amount of basketball legacy can erase what happened in Summerfield. He's rarely addressed it, and when he has, it's been deflection, not accountability. Kevin Garnett. The controversy hit on November 2nd, 2010, when Pistons forward Charlie.
All right, I'm gonna have to come back to this. Rick Barry, Kevin Durant, Scottie Pippen, Kawhi, James Harden, Miles Bridges. No, Miles Bridges. I know the Miles Bridges one. John Morant, Monte Ellis. What?
Ellis. In December 2011, he found himself at the center of a sexual harassment lawsuit filed by Erica Ross Smith, who worked as the Warriors Community Relations Director. The lawsuit didn't just name Ellis. It pulled in the Warriors organization too. Smith claimed that from November 2010 through January 2011, Ellis sent her numerous unsolicited text messages. These weren't casual workplace chats. They included sexually suggestive lines along with questions about what she was wearing. Then, on December 17th, she said Ellis sent a photo of his genitalia to her work phone. That allegation alone sent shockwaves. Smith also claimed things got worse after she rejected him. According to her, the Warriors reduced her job duties and ultimately laid her off in August 2011. She alleged the organization knew what was happening and tried to keep it quiet, painting a picture of retaliation and a cover-up. The Warriors responded by saying they were aware of a consensual relationship between Ellis and Smith and had told both to end contact. They denied doing anything wrong and pushed back on the idea of retaliation. Ellis kept it brief, letting lawyers handle the legal side. By June 2012, all parties reached a settlement, though no details were made public. The lawsuit was dismissed.
Damn, bro. Kawhi Leonard?
All about where he'd land next, but instead, most of the spotlight shifted to his uncle, Dennis Robertson, better known as Uncle Dennis. Now, this wasn't your average uncle who brings dessert to family dinners kind of situation. This guy came in with demands that made NBA teams pause mid-phone call. Uncle Dennis reportedly asked for some wild perks while negotiating with teams, and we're not talking bonus incentives. He allegedly wanted part ownership of the team, a house, access to a private plane at all times, and guaranteed endorsement money. It wasn't just about Kawhi getting paid. It was like Dennis was putting together his own billionaire starter pack. These demands were brought to teams like the Lakers, Raptors, and Clippers. Jeannie Buss from the Lakers was reportedly hit with multiple phone calls and made it very clear that what he was asking for was straight up against the rule. The Raptors kept it quieter, but reports say they heard the same wish list. The NBA wasn't about to let this slide, so they launched an investigation, especially into the Clippers. After looking into everything, they didn't find any violations and no team was punished. Kawhi claimed he had no idea about what his uncle was doing. Still, it's hard to ignore how loud Uncle Dennis's presence was. In the end, Kawhi signed a 3-year deal with the Clippers, worth $103 million. The drama didn't land anyone in trouble, but it definitely made headlines. James Harden, everyone
Man,
knows
you see
the
how
guy
your
could
family, bro, they fuck up your shit, bro. Trying to sweeten the pot for you. You not the star, gang. You're in the backfield. Stay there. You asking for it. I can see if it was like every time we pull up, we get the skybox, we get Chick-fil-A or Popeyes served, or like, you know, shit that could actually be achievable. Asking for a private jet, a mansion, and some? Nah, bro. That's that greed they be talking about in the Bible, bro. That's that greed they be talking about, bro. Fucked up his whole shit. All right. Let me go back to the Vox. Let's see what the Vox talking about. I don't know what this means. I almost want to watch something. I almost want to watch this because, like, what can the salmon dilemma even mean? Like, that's the first thing my eyes gravitated to. Like, what does that mean?
I'm for music. It's got to.
Salmon dilemma. Is there a shortage of salmon in the world?
So I eat a lot of other things, which makes me an omnivore, like a lot of people. But lately I've been wondering, is it even possible to be an omnivore responsibly? I mean, is it possible to eat meat and still care about this planet?
I've been hearing a lot about farming fish as one of the most sustainable and ethical ways to produce animal protein.
So I decided to do a deep dive on the most consumed fish in the US, salmon. I personally eat a ton of salmon, and I'm not alone.
Salmon top 5 fish though. I ain't gonna lie. It's like salmon then catfish. But that's probably because I'm black. Like salmon and catfish, bang.
The average American consumes 3.2 pounds of salmon a year.
So how exactly does salmon farming work? I'll explain the impact it has on our planet and our future. And maybe most importantly, what it means for the salmon themselves.
So first things first, wild or farmed salmon? Wild does sound a lot better to me, but it turns out there's a very real limit to how much wild salmon we can catch sustainably.
We're unfortunately at this state right now where, to put it simply, the wild fish stocks are just maxed out or are almost at their sustainability limits. And to meet the rising demands for seafood, we need to not deplete the oceans anymore. We need them to be thriving and to be full of biodiversity, and that's where aquaculture can come in.
So if we want to eat salmon at the scale that we do, well, it kind of sounds like it has to come from aquaculture.
Salmon has only been farmed since the 1960s, and it's grown fast. Since the 80s, global consumption of salmon has tripled, and over 70% of that salmon comes from farms.
So salmon farming takes place in coastal regions around the world. Salmon really like that cold, clean, fresh water where they like to grow best.
That's Sophie Ryan, CEO of Global Salmon Initiative, a collaboration between some of the world's biggest salmon farming companies. Most salmon is...
But like when you really sit back and think about it, all the food that we consume and at the scale that we consume it, you like, bro, sometimes I just be like, I be overthinking shit and like I'll be eating some wings. I'm like, ain't enough chickens in the world, bro. There's like a fucking wing stop on every corner. There's not enough chickens in the world.
It's farmed in Norway, Chile, the UK, Canada, and the Faroe Islands.
The process really begins in what we call a freshwater hatchery. So this is locations on land where the salmon are small eggs and they're monitored closely when they hatch and then they're put into tanks. So on land in freshwater.
Some salmon fries a bust though, I ain't gonna lie.
Maturity, they're transferred out to ocean farms. So this is those open ocean pens where they're really in that cold, fresh water that they like. And they stay here until they're ready to harvest. which usually takes about 18 months to 2 years. So then when they reach that fully grown stage, they're harvested, taken to a processing facility, and then distributed to consumers, restaurants, and retailers around the world.
And that's how the world produces almost 3 million tons of salmon each year. But is it actually more resource effective to farm this much salmon versus other protein like chicken?
To try and answer that, let's start with the big picture.
By current projections, we'll likely need to feed 2 billion more people by 2050.
But how can we do that without further depleting Earth's resources? Well, some people opt to go vegan for that exact reason.
And recent studies have shown that a plant-based diet could lower your climate impact, but only 1% of Americans are vegan. And while up to 46% of Americans said they would consider a plant-based diet if it helped reduce greenhouse gas emissions, that still leaves over half the country reliant on animal proteins like salmon.
Aquaculture has huge potential to really play a role, and what that means is it requires less land and less fresh water, and also has a lower carbon footprint than many of the animal kind of proteins you can get hold of.
But there are other factors related to farming salmon at such a large scale. It turns out we also need to look at the amount of resources needed to feed the fish.
Here's marine biologist Ray Hilborn on what it takes to feed all that salmon.
Most of their feed is coming from plants, so typically soy-based plants. That's where the big impact is.
The downsides of soy farming have been well documented, and honestly, that could be its own video. To sum it up, soy farming can be a major cause of deforestation, water pollution, and biodiversity loss. And a lot of the demand is driven by a need to feed farm animals. But in the wild, salmon are carnivores. So for farm-raised salmon, this soy-based diet is supplemented by feeding them other fish.
There are some fish that are salmon that are raised without any fish meal and fish oil, but I think most farm salmon use fish meal and fish oil to some extent.
Some of this fish meal does come from fish byproduct and scraps from other fish that have been processed to be eaten, but most of it comes from wild-caught fish that are being caught just to feed the salmon. So the effects of salmon on the environment ripple out far beyond the farms themselves, to the soy farms and fisheries that feed them.
But even still, Professor Hilborn argues that farming salmon is more sustainable than farming other land animals.
So it takes less feed to make a pound of salmon than it takes to produce a pound of chicken.
In other words, despite the impact that salmon feed may have on the environment, it still takes less of that feed than it would for other livestock.
When you zoom out, salmon aquaculture looks like a better alternative to land-based farming and even wild-caught salmon. But there's another dimension to this that might tip the balance. What is salmon farming like for the salmon themselves?
So in salmon farming, there are many things that are done to the animals that are invasive. And so they are handled, they are size graded, they're pumped up into tubes.
That's Professor Lynn Snett, a researcher who has spent her career studying fish behavior, and in particular, answering the question of whether fish can
I wonder
feel
how
pain.
people end
It's a
up in
question
there.
a lot of us never
Your
consider.
study is
Many
fish
people
behavior.
don't spend time with fish. The only time they might see them is, in a shop where, they're buying fish to eat.
But for those who do consider whether fish can feel pain, there doesn't seem to be much debate.
So the scientific evidence shows that fishes have nociceptors, receptors for pain, that they have the neural apparatus to detect and process it. They suspend feeding, they don't behave
so much
normally. And yet when you
we
give
were
them
never taught, got away from
painkillers,
it.
we prevent all of those behavioral
Oh
changes.
yeah, no, absolutely.
So if fish can feel pain, like pigs, cows, chickens, and other animals that we already farm, what does that change? Well, it complicates this widely held notion that farming salmon is good for you and for the planet. On the one hand, we need to feed a growing population that is likely going to remain meat eaters, and salmon farming is more efficient and less land intensive than a lot of the alternatives. But knowing that the fish can
I wonder
clearly
what
feel
that
pain
ultimately
and
does.
mental stress makes me
I wonder what that ultimately does if salmon in the wild consume, like, they're carnivores, but the fish that we eat necessarily eat a byproduct of, like, maybe fish, but like plant life, how that impacts the person who's consuming it. Like, a bunch of salmon consuming a bunch of soy just doesn't seem like a great alternative as well.
think a lot more about their welfare, especially given the fact that salmon farming requires catching other wild fish to feed to the salmon.
And like any other form of animal farming, there are repercussions.
Salmon farms pose threats to various marine organisms through transmission of parasites like sea lice.
When you learn what the word
diseases in some case.
And there have also been cases where salmon escape the pens and interbreed with
like
fish in the
Netflix,
local
Hulu,
ecosystem
Amazon,
as an
etc.
invasive species. It was these reasons that led to the banning of net pens in Washington state just
I'll
this
comment
year.
on that in just one second.
I think there's unfortunately this very real trade-off between sustainability and ethics, because feeding a growing population responsibly will often come at the expense of the animals involved. But I also think there's a silver lining, because the conditions that those animals are in can improve.
Take chickens and eggs, for example. Over the last 20 years, pressure from the public and politicians impacted the egg industry when people became widely aware of the factory farm conditions that chickens lived in. In 2006, 5% of eggs were cage-free. Now that number is 45.
And maybe a similar mindset can be adopted for farming fish.
Fish welfare is so critically important because we're raising animals. You know, we want healthy fish in healthy waters.
So by safeguarding the welfare of fish, I think it benefits everyone, whether you care about the fish themselves or not.
Why did I do that? Hold on. Etymology of the word entertainment. The word etymology comes from the Latin, meaning to hold together or to support. It entered English through the Old French word, which originally meant to maintain or to keep up. Early senses of the word referring to maintaining a person in a certain condition or showing hospitality with the meaning of amusement, developing later in the 60s. Core, to hold together or to maintain, French origin. To hold together, stick together, is to support. Early English meaning. Okay. Whatever. You watch swim basketball video, other swimming basketball, stimulate your mind for the one time. No, that's why I genuinely wanted to watch that video. That video caught my attention. Now, do I necessarily want to watch a 50-minute video? No. But then also, as well, I think taking in information such as, you know, how close is America to civil conflict? Taking in that information, that's also information that I take in outside of this as well. So like, I don't know if it's still behind me. Like I also read books too, which I find that's something else that as the overall literacy rate within this country is starting to taper off. Like I don't necessarily always want to get my source of information being a video that I've seen online. So I mean, I get both sides though. I for sure get it. But I just want to make it clear that like this is not my only source of stimulating or also getting a reference point from like things that have happened in the past or what's currently happening in the world. Will American colleges survive Trump? Are probiotics and should small towns still have volunteer? What it feels like to die?
Build a website you love.
Damn, that's kind of fire.
Host of The Gray Area. For the show this week,
That's kind of
I
a
talked
fire
to
title.
Sebastian Younger, the writer, filmmaker, and author of the book In My Time of Dying. We talk about his own near-death experience and how it shook up his worldview and really changed how we thought about everything. This week's episode is audio only, but we'll be back on video next week. Hope you enjoy. What happens when we die? I've always been a cold, hard materialist on this one. Our brain shuts down, consciousness fades away, and the lights go out. And beyond that, what else is there to say? I had no experience of life before I was born, and I expect to have no experience of life after I die. As best I can tell, that's the most reasonable assumption we can make about death. But most reasonable does not mean definitely true. There's the conventional view taken by major religions that the shape of your afterlife depends on the quality of your actual life. I have my issues with that, but it's a widely held belief. The point, in any case, is that this is one of the oldest questions we have, which means there are all sorts of theories about how consciousness, in some form, might survive the death of the body. However unlikely these possibilities might be, they're not impossible. And if they're not impossible, how seriously should we take them? I'm Sean Illing, and this is The Gray Area. Today's guest is Sebastian Younger.
This is not.
He's a former war reporter,
This
a
is something I would
documentarian,
watch
and the
on
author of
treadmill
several books,
or like on a
including
workout. I thought they were gonna add clips or something into that. That's something I would watch on my own. Especially if they're not gonna show their face. Are your fingerprints really unique?
So, Kim, I'm happy to try a little amateur forensic work here. I've collected fingerprints from a few of our colleagues, and what you see here is 4 fingerprints I took, 2 of which are from the exact same finger. So I want to see if you can match which 2 prints are from the same finger. This is Explainer Club, where video producers like me sit down and explain something to one of our coworkers, and today, that is Kim.
I'm a video producer, and I work on primarily health and science content.
And I do history, culture, and sometimes science videos.
So, I think A and B, that's my first guess, and that's just because I see this like little swirl coming up. And these 2 just look so different, because you have like this little hump down here. I think I still want to say A and B are the same.
Okay.
I feel like I completely blew that.
No.
I feel like the okay was
I feel like it was A and D.
No. The answer was A and C.
Oh.
They're both from the left thumb. So what is interesting to me about this, though, is all of these fingerprints are from the same person.
Oh.
I think we all know every person has their own fingerprint.
Right.
But I didn't know before I started working on this that each individual finger on your hands is different from each other. Did you know that?
Like they're completely different?
Police practice, when you get fingerprinted, they'll take all 10.
That makes sense, yeah. But that makes it seem like it's so much harder to actually identify if a fingerprint belongs to a person if every single...
No, God. Nah, for real.
Without this full reference...
That's
you
like an
wouldn't be able
Alone
to
type
match
video.
one fingerprint to another and say this came from the same hand, or even the same person. But there is this new AI tool that says it can do it. That's what we're going to talk about today.
Okay, cool, yeah.
Cool. Then we're going to probably run the logo there.
Logo.
Okay, show you something else. This is a copy of the actual fingerprinting card that the FBI uses. This one is kind of a practice for me. I learned while making this video that taking someone's fingerprint, if you're not trained to do that, is actually kind of hard. They work.
Inside the art and culture of Italy.
I ain't never thought about that either.
The
Are
FBI's
my
Fingerprint Archive
fingerprints-
currently houses around 165 million fingerprint records, and they start on these cards. So if you're arrested for a crime in the US, you will get your fingerprints taken by the police, and they're stored on file even if you're not proven guilty. So if you flip this over, these are the 3 main patterns used to classify fingerprints: the arch, whirl, and loop.
Okay, I feel that you should have given me this before the quiz, Coleman. I feel I wasn't prepared.
Okay, that is fair.
But no, this is cool.
So the ridges in an arch pattern come from one side of the fingertip and then exit out the other side. Then a whorl spirals into a center point.
I
and
know,
a loop
bro.
comes from one side of the
I know.
finger and then back out the same side.
This little bottom part's like an arch, right? And this is a loop because this is coming back this way.
Yeah, exactly.
Not a lot of whorls going on. Is whorl more rare?
It's kind of in the middle. About 60% of people have loops. That's the most common. Whorl is considered like around 35%. And then arches are actually very rare.
Oh, interesting.
These general categories are really just for classification.
Yeah,
Actually,
I see an
analyzing
arch.
and matching an individual fingerprint is in the minutia. The little breaks and splits along each individual ridge, not the overall pattern. And the most common markings are when you follow a ridge and it ends, that's called a ridge ending. And then if you follow along a ridge and it splits into two, that's called a bifurcation. There's an island, which is like that little dot. When a ridge splits, but then quickly rejoins, is called a lake. And then that's a bridge connecting two ridges. So
Who
analysts
came
basically just
up
go
with the?
ridge by
Do you ever just think about like, bro, before, like, who came up with this shit?
a ridge and mark these details, and that is where uniqueness in fingerprints really comes from. Not even identical twins who have matching DNA have matching fingerprints when you get to the minutia. So the minutia is how analysts have been matching fingerprints for more than a century.
Is that coming from outside factors? Like it's not genetic anymore? Like if I burn my finger or something like that, is that where most of minutia is
That's
from?
a great
That's
question.
a great question. It doesn't come from your lifetime.
I'm just thinking of like Men in Black where Will Smith has to like grab the thing and it just burns his fingerprints off.
One you encounter.
That would be hard to actually do. It's very hard to get rid of your fingerprints, and they don't change over your lifetime. They're actually tiny ridges of tissue under your skin.
Oh.
They're called friction ridges.
Oh,
Even if
wow.
you burned off your fingertips, your palms, your other joints, they're all equally unique because they have the same friction ridges. So I want to show you something on my computer. By the
Damn,
time
I
you're
didn't know
born,
that.
Your fingerprints are already set. So they form in the womb. Their pattern begins with some genetic influence from your parents as a shape in the center, the fingertip, and top of your first knuckle. The ridges grow from there in waves, following what's called a Turing pattern. This is a concept proposed by Alan Turing in the 1950s that helps explain other unique patterns in nature, like how a leopard gets its spots, how a zebra gets its stripes, and sand dunes.
That's pretty.
It's beautiful. And so what I want to show you is there are actually some cool simulators online that can kind of give you an idea of how a Turing pattern, how they work.
Oh, that's so fun. Oh, it looks like a brain. That's creepy.
These waves and the way they merge and collide ends up with a unique pattern. So I want to ask you about the video that you made about how our voice is like a fingerprint too.
As humans, each of us produces a sound that's about as unique as a fingerprint.
So the whole point of that video was to just explain the amount of things that go into producing your voice. Your nasal cavity, your tongue, your vocal cords have different thicknesses and lengths. There's just so many minuscule little factors that will just change how you sound. And therefore we went with why your voice is like a fingerprint. People in the comments were just like, actually, fingerprints are not unique. The thing is like, we can't prove it. I think maybe that's what they mean.
I could see the doubt, and I've seen questions online, like if they didn't take everybody's fingerprint, how do they know they're all unique? It's a probability issue, especially the way these things form under our skin, which is truly random. And there's just so many data points in here.
That is single-handedly the greatest piece of information pulled from this. That the fact that that's under the skin versus that just being on the outside is crazy.
That it was estimated, even
Just
sort
start
of
to
towards the
feel
beginning
vain.
in the history of fingerprinting, the odds of having the exact same pattern, when you get down to the minutia, are like 1 in 64 billion. And I think that people feel comfortable enough saying that no two fingerprints are alike.
I feel you.
But about a year ago, that might have changed. I'm gonna play a clip from a phone interview that I did recently. This is a transcript of what you're about to hear. Take a listen to this.
My name is Hod Lipson. I'm a roboticist, AI researcher here at Columbia, and have nothing to do with forensics, fingerprints, anything like that. Once you understand AI, you can apply it to taking a fresh look at some hard problems, and this is one of them.
What he's talking about is this study published in Science Advances that one of his students was the lead author on that claims to have trained an AI to identify whether a pair of fingerprints came from the same person or not. So what they did was feed pairs of fingerprints, sometimes from different people, sometimes the same person but different fingers, into the AI and ask a simple question. Same person or two different people?
And so he found the data set, which was a set of about 60,000 fingerprints from, I think, mostly from deceased people. This is a public data set. He set up the AI, again, not a fancy AI, and had it look at this. And lo and behold, he was able to do it fairly effectively, which led us to ask more questions like, how are you doing it? What are the features you're using? And the AI shows you, and it's looking at fingerprints in a completely different way than humans.
It found similarities to pretty successfully identify whether it was the same person or not.
How does it do that?
I want to show you what it was looking at.
Hey,
That's
I'm Jordan.
crazy.
I hope this guy get into.
That is wild, bro.
Instead of examining the minutia like a human analyst does, the machine focused on the subtle curve shape and different angles of ridge lines in the center of the fingerprints. So what this chart is basically showing is when it examined a raw image, the machine was right about 80% of the time when asked the question, same person or different people. And even when you removed a lot of the detail, including the minutia, and you were left with just this orientation, it was still right about 75% of the time. So it doesn't need the minutia. And in fact, when they did just the minutia and removed all other details, it was the least effective. It was around 60%, which is not much better than a random guess. That's just to examine if the prints came from the same person or not. To match an exact fingerprint to an exact fingerprint, you would still need the minutia. There's been some pushback from experts in the field of forensics about the study who say the paper alone won't change the way we interpret fingerprints. And the authors themselves acknowledge that there's more research that needs to be done.
We took it as far as we can using the public data sets, but I'm sure if the FBI wanted to do this, they could do a much better job. A slightly deeper issue is discovery is that we've been looking at fingerprints. Perhaps we're missing a lot of information because we were overlooking things like curvature and things that AI suggests are actually very meaningful. It gives us a new language to look at fingerprints.
Absolutely.
A general optimistic view of AI that I hope to have is how it can teach us to see new things, and also just in the field of medical diagnostics to be able to catch things like tumors or cancer.
That is, bro. There's that's a heavy topic. Do I believe that? Yes. How often has a company had a data breach and is disguised as a data breach, but it's actually a company selling off your information? Everything about everything that we do has been sold off. Everything. When you sign up to actually make an account on any of these platforms, when you go make a purchase and you put your email down for this company or like basic, and you get an iPhone. If you get an iPhone, all this shit is a part of that shit. Absolutely. But then you start, that's when real deal pessimistic attitudes start to take over. And you kind of have to, I personally have to, like, when I start getting too real deep into like that type of programming, not programming, I need to use a different word. That type of like deep dive, I had to pull myself out of that, because you can start looking at shit and it's like, you know, you could almost go full blown, like, what's the point of even doing anything if all this shit is like, you know, I mean, you pan out and we just all test subjects in this shit that's going on. It's really, we live in really wicked times. But we also have always been living in really wicked times. This isn't like a new concept. I think people think that like AI is like a new thing that's been popping up for like the past 5 years, let's say. This has been around for a very long time. This isn't a new development. It only just seems new because all these companies are heavily putting billions of dollars into that machine. But AI is not new in any facet. We are cooked. I mean, we've like, just think about like people, when you realize how much water is taken to actually fuel just these servers, like we're like damaging ecosystems to fucking get an answer to like, you know, what should I eat today? Like the amount of shit that we waste to like run AI just for like the most like basic shit possible is just burning through our resources. It doesn't make sense. So yeah. But yeah, 2 hours, 18 minutes. I am about to jump off of this. 35 hours left until that 4K mark. I appreciate y'all. Even in a world filled and ran by a lot of bad shit going on, try to be the light that you will hope to see in this world as well. So it could get real doomy and real dark and, you know, all that when it comes to when you actually pan out and you see how things are being played. But, you know, yeah, man. All right, I'll catch y'all in the next stream.